All right, I think I'm ready to go. Let's get this stream started. But first, I need to be very careful here because I cannot open Unreal, or not Unreal, I cannot open Epic Games launcher because of work and contract, and I can't show what's on there because it shows projects and stuff like that. Um, so I'm hoping to God this does not open Epic Games Launcher if I close it. I don't think it does. So I'm gonna make sure that I capture specifically Unreal. All right. I guess I'll put on the sound even though there's no actual sound. I should have set up some music for this, but I was kind of running late thanks to work and other stuff. Um, I think we're good. Right. Hopefully it doesn't crash, but it hasn't crashed in a couple days, which is good. All right, so I guess I should probably explain a little bit about what this project is. I started this project in when was it? I think it was 2019, maybe. Yeah, it was actually it was 2 years ago. This or no, more than 2 years ago. Damn, it's been 2.5 years. I think I made a mistake on the actual post about it, but um, in the summer of 2019, I think it was shortly after I graduated. I started working on a project called internally. It's not an actual name, but called Project Telltale, and it was to basically be a game similar to the style of the Telltale games. Unfortunately, that was around the time when the company went under, so it was like kind of like an honor or to honor the memory of that uh, company, those games. Shortly after that, they did get revived, but it's not the same company. It's like none of the same people, and honestly, I don't even know what they're doing. So like that's the whole purpose of this game and this project is to make my own version of that kind of game. And a lot of people call them like walking simulators. Basically, you have your open space, whether if it's like a whole open world or maybe like a house or something, and you walk around, you interact with objects, you pick up on story beats here and there. Maybe you'll get some dialogue, some audio. There's a lot of different genres of a lot of different like genres that use this kind of gameplay style. Some of them are like horror games. Some of them are like just like indie narrative games, stuff like that. So that's kind of like the point of this game and the reason why it's named that. Um, and it's been about a year and a half since I worked on it, so I want to start from scratch. And I think it's a good idea to maybe do it on stream because I want to expand the actual things I do on the channel and game development because it is important to me as an actual game developer and programmer. Um, it's probably a good idea to start jumping into this a little bit more on stream and on the channel. Um, so yeah, I'm basically starting from scratch. I have a template project. It's in first person with some starter content, but I'm not going to really do much today. Today actually might be a shorter stream. What I'm going to be doing today is basically cutting down all the different preset code that's here for different mechanics that I don't need and kind of setting up the basic movement settings for the project. So I have a list. I should probably look at it, but I don't think I'll be fine. So the first thing I want to do is disable the gun because I don't need the gun right now. Is it flashing on the stream? It is flashing. I think I'm just gonna have to switch it to. Oh, I gotta be very careful when I open GitHub, and also I gotta close Discord. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to change this to always capture. I just hope to God it doesn't switch. It doesn't open on Epic Games Launcher. I don't think it will. Will it work if I do any full application? It doesn't seem like it. Auto does seem to work. So let's see if that fixes it. All right. So, yeah, first thing I want to do is disable the gun. Because it's the first person template, it automatically comes attached to the project, the character in the project. So I'm going to disable that. First, I can go in the construction script, which is basically like a way of updating your blueprint just on the fly, like because this is attached to the construction script, add component to the player, specifically the gun. In the viewport here, you can actually see that it's being added. Is it still flashing? Yes, it is. It's something with Unreal probably. I'm just gonna switch it to display. There we go. All right. So yes, construction script. So this is where the gun is being attached. So once I detach that, compile and save, it's no longer there. Actually, for some reason, it's kind of just hanging out here. What the hell? I think that's fine. In order to actually like get rid of it, I would have to literally just remove it from the blueprint. I don't want to do that because there's a chance I might require a weapon in the future, but that's something that is very far down the line. And I probably won't even be using the same animations or even the same model for the character. So that's fine. I'm just gonna leave it there. So that has been detached. Also, I need to disable shooting because even if I don't have the gun attached to the character, you could still shoot. So I've got to detach it here. And that should be good. I could just leave that alone. I also want to remove jumping because I don't want jumping in the game. So no jumping in this game. I'm also going to disable all the VR stuff because this is not going to have VR. Motion controls. I'll just leave that. Yeah, this is not going to be for VR, so it doesn't matter if I leave it on or connected or not, but I'm just going to disconnect it. It's good to save every once in a while, just in case of a crash. I had a lot of crashing issues the last month or so. So Unreal was really difficult to work with. But I found that my new graphics card, which is unfortunate that it's the new one, was having stability issues. It could be related to many different issues, many different problems that the PC might be having. So I just downgraded to my 1060, which was sitting around. Next, I wanted to decrease the sensitivity because, as you can see, this is too sensitive. It's not ideal for the kind of game I'm making because you're going to be exploring a lot. So you want to be able to look closely and look to steadily scroll across the screen to be able to find everything. So I think I played around with this earlier. So I'm actually I could divide, but multiplying also makes sense. So I'm going to multiply float by float. I'm going to do half of it. So basically I'm taking the oh god, what happened? No, never mind. I'm taking that axis value, which is basically the value that is coming through the input from the mouse, and multiplying it by half. So it's actually slowing it down. So it becomes less sensitive. This is more ideal, for sure. Also, for the moment, I can't really do anything about the arms showing up on screen. For whatever reason, the first person template idle animation has the arm already in that position, so you would have to have new animations. I don't have an animation at the moment that will make it not visible on screen, so that's not super important right now. And honestly, I don't even need to worry about the model at the moment, so I'm just gonna make it invisible for now, just to get it off the screen. So now it's hidden in game, and I should make sure all of this is hidden in game. Yeah, that's hidden. That is not hidden. There we go. So now everything is hidden on the player. Cool. Let's just verify jump is gone. Yeah, jump is gone. Shooting is gone. Aiming, I don't think there was an aim, but yeah, it's gone. And let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh, yes, the movement. Character moves a little too fast. So I want to look at the base movement speed. Actually, I don't even think. Does that actually take the movement speed from. Yeah, because that's character movement. But I don't think it actually uses it. Does it? It should. It might be running one of the C++ functions. Because movement speed is somewhere around here. There it is. Nope, that's flying. That's swimming. It's all the way at the top, isn't it? Here it is. Max walk speed. Crouched. We can't crouch, can we? No, I don't think so. So the max walk speed. Where's walk speed? Character movement. Okay, it's already in. So that's the one. Okay. I wonder if different templates have different versions of the character movement. I'm gonna cut this in half and see what happens. Yeah, you're considerably slower. Okay. So that is running something in the background, some C++ function that I can't actually look at. I actually think even oh boy, even this is a little too fast. So I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. 200 might be a little too low, so 225 maybe is good. Walking speed. It does look like there are also separate. Yeah, there are separate speeds for like analog stick on a controller. But that is something I can do another time. Yeah, this is much better. So this is ideally what it would be like to play a game, a basic, like a first-person version of a Telltale game. Um, I'm still not satisfied with this. The sensitivity. Let me try 0.4. Now, if you can imagine, like this is a house, and you're walking around looking at like tables and shelves, countertop. There'd be different items you can interact with, and this is much better for the sensitivity and the you know the speed as well. All right, I think that's everything on my list. Let me look at it real quick. Because I made my list relatively short. Because I don't know the lower sensitivity. Yes, that's pretty much it on my list except for the camera. So I want to look in the camera and I want to kind of just play around with the settings in there for a bit because I've never really gone in depth into the post processing, and that's something that I want to um, mess around with. What is mobile depth of field? Yeah, see, this is a lot of stuff that I don't think I've ever messed with, and I could easily break the game. Constraint X. Okay. Yeah, field of view. That's something that you could eventually change. Eventually, you're gonna want to do like slider, just to give the player options to change certain settings like sensitivity, field of view, move. Well, not movement speed. Yeah, stuff like that. Um, yeah, I want to look into this stuff. I want to see what each thing does. I wish it would show you like some details. Oh, mobile platform. So maybe don't touch that. What does this do? Bloom. There's no visible change there. I guess it'd be standard. Hmm. I wonder if I'm missing something. Is there something else I need to apply here? Intensity. Oh, the intensity probably. Oh yeah, I can tell. It's brighter. You can see it actually. So yeah, the bloom I guess is just the brightness of sorts. Maybe the lighting bouncing off of, specific time types of materials potentially. Um, but I kind of like that because the game is gonna be indoors for the most part, and parts of the game might be a little darker than others. So maybe I'll leave that. I don't know how that will look later on though when I actually have a level built out. Exposure. I'm assuming this is like, yeah, it's like camera exposure probably. Oh, it's even brighter because of that exposure. All right. Chromatic aberration. I think that's like, I can't remember that when I was a geology student. Like when using a microscope, sometimes there'll be an outer ring of just random light because of for some reason. I don't know why. It happens with cameras too. Intensity. Let's see what that looks like. I just want to like go through and look at everything. Um, can't really notice anything. No, not really. I don't really see anything. Oh, start offset might help. Yeah, no, it's really hard to tell what that's doing. Dirt mask. Don't have any textures for that, do I? I don't think so. Maybe I do. What does that look like? I think I need to adjust the settings still. Yeah, intensity. Dirt mask tint. So this is if you want to like add dirt to your camera. Like say on a helmet or a visor or whatever. So trying to get this to be brown. There we go. Maybe there's a reason I can't see it. Uh, there's a chance that some of these settings might not allow it to be visible. I don't know. That's fine. We just leave that alone. One that just says camera. Oh, I think if it's like an actual camera, I see. Lens flare. Let's see what this. I mean, I know what this does, but I want to see it in action. Does it actually work? Is there no sun? There is a sun. You can actually see. I don't think that's. I think that's normal. That might just be normal. I remember when I was messing around in Unity, you had to actually add an asset for lens flares. Hmm. Yeah, it seems like there should be, that typical lens flare you would get when you're looking through a camera or something like that. I think that might be what this is. Yeah, there's probably not asset for that in the default engine. Image effect. This would be kind of interesting to play around with. Vignette intensity. I don't know why I keep going to that. Yeah, there we go. See, it gets darker on the edge of the screen. That's kind of cool, and I like that actually. I don't think it needs to be that intense, but it basically reduces the focus on the edges, like kind of like blurring out, your peripherals. That's kind of like what it is. A little bit has that effect kind of, but I like this. I'm gonna keep it there actually. Grain jitter. I wonder if this will just make it grainy. That sounds like it's what it does. Again, I wish it would explain what it's actually changing, but it doesn't. Yeah, no, it's hard to tell what it's doing. Oh, jitter and then intensity, right? Hmm. I wonder how different will it look if I change the sun height. Why can't I change this? Oh, blueprint. That's different than the actual skybox. Sky sphere blueprint. Huh. I don't see that in here. Like, this has a different name. Oh, BP Sky. Okay, never mind. Is there a reason why this won't change the sun height? Oh, I shouldn't do that. I don't know why it won't work. Refresh material. Directional light. Light source. Yeah, it's not really doing much. Oh, too bright. Strange. Usually you can check the sky sphere and change the height. But you can't for some reason. And this is like overriding that. So you can't even override the angle of the sun. Strange. Is it because of this? Because I don't think I've ever noticed this before. Oh yeah, it is because of that. That's really weird. So light source, this directional light overrides the sky sphere entirely. So I'm gonna bring it down to nighttime and build my light real quick. Preview because I don't want to destroy my computer. This usually does take a little bit. Ooh, swarm. Hold on. Defender. Windows Defender catches everything for some reason. Always make sure you're building your light to, um, save everything in case if something goes wrong. I've had crashes from building light. It's usually a lengthy process, but it depends on like the size of the world, the light quality, any number of issues could happen too. Um, yeah, it's just important to save everything beforehand. As you can see, this is like a template level, and it's taking a little bit of time. Usually maybe a minute or less, but if you have a really massive open world, it's gonna take a long time. It's basically rendering everything with new light settings, and that's all got to be updated. Is there a reason why? Is there something else up there? Because I see light. Oh. Yeah, there's still light despite. Huh. That's really strange. Hold on. Light source, skylight. Yeah, leave the skylight. Ooh, that looks ugly. All right. Oh, that's weird. Even though the skylight is disabled. Or the light source. Um. Nope, not skylight. Light source. I think I might have to rebuild the light. Here we go. Another minute probably. Yeah, I gotta get some music in for this next time. This one's gonna be a bit shorter. I just want to play around with some things. Trying to think what I could do for the next one. I want to get like some major mechanic started at least. It could be like just interacting with objects and getting things to, display text to show that I'm actually interacting with something. Yeah, this is much better. You can see the vignette on the sides. It might be a little bit too intense. So 0.6. Honestly, really can't tell the difference with those. I wonder if that's. I'll probably leave it at 0.6. I'll leave it there. All right. Depth of field, focal distance. So this is when you can start like making the level look nice and somewhat polished, changing depth of field. I wonder how this will work. Focal distance, 10. I don't know if that's Unreal units or some other random unit. Oh yeah. So this is basically like you need glasses by the looks of it. If I make this one, what is that going to look like? It's the same. So you probably want to make this a bit further out, 25. Yeah, there we go. So if I walk backwards, eventually everything back there will start to be out of focus. Oh, maybe I'm still within focus. 15. Because 10 was too little. Strange. 17.5. That's better. So it should eventually become out of focus. It's hard to tell. I might have to look at how exactly this works, what it's actually doing. Distance. Okay, yeah. Well, at least this one's giving some details. Distance in which the depth of field effect should be sharp. In Unreal units, centimeters. I think. I don't know. Unreal units is really weird. Because if I put 10, oh, I guess that would mean something that's right next to me is in focus. Because these might be really short. It might be a really short distance. Yeah, see here it becomes sharp. If I back away, it's blurry. So I want this to be higher than that. So 25 might be a good idea. Depth, blur, radius. Let's do 5 and see what that looks like. Oh, it's 1.5. Actually, 25 might be too big. Let's do 17.5. These are the kind of things that maybe uh, is better tested when you have actual assets. Clearly, none of these are going to be in the actual game. So I can play around with this again later. This is not super important right now, but I just wanted to mess around with some stuff. I'm thinking what I can do right now. Otherwise, I might end the stream shortly. Because this one was intended to be really short. Depth. I don't know if these are actually, like, I don't know how those work, so I'm just going to disable those for now. Color grading. Yeah, you can change the temperature of the color. I think you have to actually, like, yeah, this made it hot, so it's blue. That's pretty cool. I like that. Or you can make it cold. Makes it red. That's, I think that's working like how light in general works. With like stars. Like hotter stars are usually blue, and eventually you get to like white stars. So this should be white, or just darker blue, or deeper blue, I guess. And then cooler stars are red. I think that's just like a whole, in general, like how light works. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. But I don't need that. White balance, or I'll just disable it. Global saturation. Ooh, yeah. That's something I can mess around with eventually. Shadows. One thing I do kind of want to try to do is get the textures in the game to be cell shaded. I do have a cell shaded pack, and I could try to set that up. I think that'd be kind of cool. Oh, damn, that's all just the lens stuff. I didn't even mess around with the film. Not that I'm gonna do that though. I don't think that's too necessary now. All right, I think I can probably call it there on the camera stuff. Let me quickly. I want to set up a folder for all the custom stuff I'm gonna make. custom content, and in here all that's gonna go in this folder, so I don't lose it in whatever place it is. I know for sure I'm gonna need a custom item blueprint. Now, what this item blueprint is gonna do, and I've kind of made it multiple times actually, is allow you to interact with it, and that will be the base of what most of the game is going to be. You interacting with objects, and it could be any kind of object. Like, it can be food, it can be just a junk item, it could be a notebook, and that specific notebook would have specific text attached to it. Stuff like that. So I guess I can probably start working on that. Yeah, and I'll have to make it again, but I've done it so many times I can probably do it again easily. BP underscore item parent. And we're going to call it a parent because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the base item. And when you make something like this that has potentially multiple types of uses, it's a good idea to make a parent, so that way the parent is basically the center of where all the code and functionality of the item will be, and it's all stored there. That way when you make a child, which is basically a version of the parent that is still attached to the parent, and it does everything the parent can do, but the child is separate from other childs if you need to make different, slightly different versions of the same item. So each child can do additional things as well as whatever the parent does, but the two children can't really interact with each other. Like, they can't do the same. You can't do child one can't do what child two does unless if you add it to child one. So that's the whole point, is you're basically making a branch off of the parent, and you're able to use all that code. You can add custom stuff to it. And now that I recall that, one thing we're going to need, and it's very important for this because you require an interface, and you also require a line trace as well. So I'm going to quickly add a key binding, actually, with some project settings. We need an input key binding for interact. There's already a bunch in here by default, like jump and fire. And then there's some for movement, like move forward, move right, and then your mouse turn left and turn up, or turn right and turn up. We need to add action mapping, and we're going to call this one interact. And for this game, we're just going to make it E on the keyboard. I wish it would show E. It's kind of annoying. You have to scroll down sometimes. There it is, E. And thinking about the future, controller. What button do you usually use on controller? Like, I'm thinking back to like Fallout 4. I think you use triangle Y. Well, yeah, triangle Y as well. Gamepad. I think it's face button, which is basically the button at the top right. Face button top. That's just future proofing. It's not important right now. But if I were to test this with a controller, and if I hit Y or triangle, it would work with this current setting. So now that that's all done, I can do event interact, which is now been built into the project. And now you can do anything you want with this. So whenever I press E on something, it's going to, whenever I press E, it's going to do whatever I tell this line of code to do. And specifically, what I'm going to be doing is making a line trace. And this line trace is going to basically be like a little line that comes out of the player. Actually, I'm going to have to figure out where on the player it's going to come from. I think it's going to come from the camera, probably. Yeah, it makes sense to be coming out of the camera. So a line trace is used to, um, you know, move through the world and detect different objects. And there's different types of objects, different ways to detect them. Line trace by channel, by profile for objects, probably for objects. Oh no, not this one. By channel. By channel. That way you can set the channel as visibility. So basically any visible object. So that way you're not interacting with things that aren't visible. And we're going to take the camera, first person camera, get location. Just get the world location basically. Start the world location, and we're going to add a value that's going in this direction. So we're going to click on the camera. We want to go in the red direction there, and the red is X. So add to the X value. We're going to take a vector plus a vector. And we're going to add 0. No, we're going to add 100, 0, 0. And I'm going to make this persistent drawing so that you can see it for a little bit, just for bug testing. Well, it'll be visible permanently until I exit the game. So you can see that line trace. You can't see when you're standing still because it's literally right in front of the camera. Once you move, you can see it. I think I had it at one point coming out of the little reticle there. But I also I know that for sure that reticle is not centered. For whatever reason, it's not centered. So I will have to change that eventually. I'll have to open up the UI for the project. The HUD. All right, so now we got a line trace. I'm actually going to add a little bit longer, 250. So that's roughly the distance that this line will be tracing for objects. And what we're doing with that is we're trying to detect for specific kinds of objects. On line trace and on like a bunch of different things, sometimes you can get out hit, which is basically how you can get your results of what you're hitting. Results, break hit result, there it is. And this will basically give you all the information for whatever object you hit with that line. So just in case if you hit something and it's not, or just in case if you use the line trace and you don't hit anything, you can always add this branch here and connect it to a return value. And if it's false, then it won't do anything because it didn't hit anything. That's just basically saving on processing, because after on true, you're probably going to have a ton of different things going on. You're saving on processing so that your computer doesn't have to do all that stuff, even though since there was nothing detected, that there was nothing hit by the line, and that's ideal. So I'll leave that on because I want to debug this over time. So what we got to do now is make an interface, which is somewhere around here. User interface, no. Oh, or where was it? Interface. Blueprint interface. BP item interface is what I'm going to call it. Face. Oh, I guess BPI makes more sense. Blueprint interface. And this is basically like the middleman. So this is how you're going to connect the item that's going to be on the ground to the player's line trace. That's how they're going to basically speak with each other. So this item has to have the interface attached to it, not simulation. And the player also needs that interface. You can actually technically make one custom interface for a project, or just like one that you can use across multiple projects. and just have different functions within that interface. For now, since I only have the one thing that requires the interface, I don't need to worry about that. So you can open your interface and you can create a function, and we're just gonna call it, hey Brandon. No Unity. I haven't actually touched Unity in years. I don't think I've touched it since 2019. So I'm gonna make a function. So this is item. I'm just gonna call it item interact. So whenever you use the line trace and it hits something with that interface, it should hopefully pull up this function. On the item itself, you can actually get item. Actually, it's right here. I always forget it's right here. Right? Can I not? No, I think it just shows you that it's there. If you type in item interact, it's right here. No, which one is it? I always forget which one it is. Event item interact. There you go. So you got to pull up this one, the red one, because this is how you set up what your item does when you interact with it. Because this is going to be the item parent and there's potentially going to be different kinds of items, what I can do is basically set up like a custom function. Potentially, I'm trying to think how I can do this. It would be something that the child has to shoot. Yes. Yeah, you just need a function. So you do a function. So this is you can just name this whatever, but item interaction function. Obviously you can't rename it as something else, but this is what we're going to do whenever the item gets interacted with. And in this function, I'm not really going to do much. I'm just going to add a print statement, and it's going to say warning. Don't forget to override me in the child blueprint. This way, when you are messing around with this function and you see this print statement, you know that you missed something. And I'll show that here in a sec. Actually, I think, yeah, that's fine. I can leave it like that. And you could do a return. It's not important, but return node. So now if you make a child of the parent here, make child blueprint class, BP underscore. What kind of child do I want to make first? Let's just make one that would, if the player interacts with it, they just say some dialogue. So BP item, what would I call that? Trying to think of a good name for it. BP item. I'll just call it item child 1 for now. I'll think of a name eventually. But there's different kinds of items that I think I remember from the previous version of the project. I had like one that was you could pick up the item, like physically pick it up, or one you could interact with and just consume instantly. One where it was basically just flipping a light switch on or off, or you can also translate that to a door opening and closing. Another one where it was just reading text that was attached to the item. So there's different kinds of items. All of them do different kinds of things, different kinds of interactions. Some can go in your inventory, some might not. So that's why you want the child. So child, item child 1. In here, you want to go to the functions and click the override button here. And you want to find that function, item interaction function. And when you're overriding, you're actually just basically taking that function and rewriting it. So we're going to delete the little orange one that pops up because that's what the parent is doing. And when you delete that, you're actually getting rid of this right here. You're getting rid of that print statement, so it won't show up at all. Item function. So now this specific child is going to basically just display text. So I'm actually going to put a variable here, player dialogue. It's not going to be actual dialogue. It's just going to be a print statement. So do text. And that way that variable is available in the child. Player dialogue. So we're going to print this. Print string. And there you go. Now it'll print that text onto the screen. So this will be basically be the temporary dialogue that this item is creating when the player interacts with it. It also would be a good idea to probably add a static mesh. So static mesh is basically just the mesh of the item, so it could be the physical part component of the item itself. So let's just put a cube for now. So if I bring the child out, there it is. It's a cube. Let's actually add a texture to it. Instead of just plain gray. Oh, shiny. Let's do the shiny one. Are you kidding me? Is that like mirror shiny? Basically, damn. Like a year and a half ago, I made a mirror and I didn't need it because it was already in engine. Damn it. Oh well. That's fine. Actually, it doesn't look right. Like for some reason. Oh yeah, no, there it is. It actually isn't a mirror. It's not reflecting the walls around. It's just like basically whatever the sky is, but it's not accurate. Ugh. Oh boy. Oh, it might be the texture for the sky. Yeah, I think it's just the texture of the sky. Okay. That's fine. We'll leave it like that. So now our item parent has that function. In the event graph, it is the interact event is actually connected to the function. The child is overriding the interaction function that the parent set up. The child will need text. So let's go. I need to go to the parent, make that a public variable so that you can actually access that in the editor here. So let's say this is dialogue. So this is a mysterious cube. That's our text, basically. And now in the person, we've got to add, we did that, add the interface. Did we? Yeah, we did. So in here, we need to grab hit actor. The hit actor is basically whatever that line trace hits. And you want to, I think you just need to get the event, no, not event, item, interact, message. That's the one, I think. It would be smarter to actually add, yeah, it's going to be smarter if I do this. Because even if it does hit something that the line trace actually physically, detects, it'll still run this even if the object that it hits is not an interactable item. So I'm going to add a tag, actor tag, and we're just going to make it item. So now we're going to go back into the player. We're going to get hit actor. Actor has tag. That way we are checking the actor to see if it actually is an item. If it is, well, we got to add item here, so don't forget that. That's very important. So that's the tag that I added to the item. If it is an item, you're going to pull this function from that item and trigger it. So that's pretty much it. That's all you really need to do to have the ability to interact with objects. Really simple. Once you've done it a couple times and refined it, it's really easy to work with and modify and make it more polished. Did my line? Oh, oh yeah, that's a problem. So it's not actually going in the direction the camera is going. Got it. So that's a problem. Let me fix that. Event. Yeah, here. So I think it's supposed to be get up. No, get for no, not from the location. Get forward vector. Yeah, so the forward vector of the camera, which is constantly updating as you move the camera up, down, left, right. And then we're going to add, I don't think I needed to delete that, but we're just going to add the, what was it? 225, I think. Oh, that's not right. The camera forward is really, that's not right. Huh. What's going on here? It might be a good idea to split this. Make make vector and do it like that. So we're basically going to get the same. Well, we're going to get the X. I don't think it's the X. It's not the X, is it? I think it's the X. We're going to add to the X. We're going to add 200. I don't know if this will make a difference. Yeah, it's still going down for some reason. And it's not rotating from the camera. Oh, it kind of is. Yeah, it is. So for some reason, it's going straight down like that. That's not good. Oh, get relative. I think I know why. Yeah, get relative location. There's some instances where getting the world location is not a good idea. This is one of those instances where you need the relative location. Start. This might fix it. Huh. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see any line traces anywhere. Oh, there's one. It's below the ground. Maybe world location was right. Get world location. I might need to. Oh, I think I might need this as well. So start at the world location and use the world location to, and then add. Yeah, this might be what I need. No, I think it's the same thing as before. Is it? I think it's get. Um, it might be get world rotation make rot from X. maybe, because there's some funkiness here with the rotation of the whole of the camera. It usually takes a while to figure this stuff out from scratch, but sometimes you can also just search it. Yep, world rotation. Make rot. Oh wait, no, it's the other way around. You make the route from the x, from the actual, or from the vector. Hmm. I might have to open up the project, the other one. So let me cover my screen real quick because I can't show Epic Games Launcher. All right, let's see. It's usually not a good idea to open up two projects at the same time, especially when you're only running one monitor and you have some aging parts on your PC. But I have to do this real quick. I haven't opened this in a while, and I'm also opening a downgraded version of it. This is 2 versions of Unreal ago, but I still have it downloaded, fortunately. Yes, yes. Allow Unreal Engine to run. Don't know why you're complaining. All right. Damn, I haven't opened this in so long. Where's my line trace? There it is. Ah, there. Okay. So take the world location, that is your start position, and then take your world location plus the forward vector times a certain float, and that is your end point. That makes sense because you're going from your world location, and you're following the forward vector of the camera. But you got to multiply it by a certain amount, otherwise it'll be too short. So I was kind of on the right track here. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna recombine that. We're gonna add this. No, add vector by vector. I'm gonna take this, multiply it by a float. That float was 200. I think that's just gonna be the length basically. And voila. Yep, that's what I wanted. Perfect. So now, if I go over here to the cube and interact with it, well, it should say text. But clearly something didn't work here. So now we gotta do some debugging. So we're gonna open up the character here. And we're going to debug the first person character specifically because I want to see what happens. What the hell? Play. What happens when I'm actually using the line trace? It does seem to be going through, which is good. So this might not be the correct item. Interact. Item interact. It's strange because that's the only one that pops up. The interface is here, right? Yeah, the item interface is here. Interact. No, it's not that one. It's a specific one that has to pop up. It's not that one. It's not this one. I think you need to like cast to item parent and then item interact. This is how it pops up, I think. Nope, not that one. Not even that one. Strange. Because the parent has it. Yeah, it's right here. I might have to open up the project, the other one. All right, here we go again. I might just keep it open, or I'll probably take some screenshots next time of that project in case. Because sometimes I'll be doing something and then like there's one step that I'm missing that was probably the one step that took me a long time to figure out the last time I did it. So trying to figure out that on the fly is not usually like helpful, and it's not worth doing. But if I take some screenshots of some of this stuff, it might actually jog my memory and be helpful. Interact. Yeah, hit after interact. Interact is going through the interface. So if I go in and actually interact with an object in the game, yeah, it picked it up. It ate it too. Just strange. All right, I'm going to keep it open. But yeah, that should have worked. I'll open it actually. Here's the original project. So this is the exact same thing right here. Here's the line trace. Although I think I used 4 objects. Yeah, I used 4 objects last time. Maybe I should do that this time. World dynamic, world static. So those are the object types. So yeah, it would get interact. So I should be able to do the same thing here. That's the same thing. I'm pretty sure. Interact. Yeah. So that should be working. And the child is. Yeah, the child has the interface by default, technically. Yeah, the item has it. So I don't know why it didn't work. Maybe because it's a different kind. Yeah, it might be because it's not the same type of line trace. It might need to be line trace by. What was it? By 4 objects. That means you will need to promote this to a variable. That'll drive me insane if I don't get rid of that space. Reattach all that. End, start, ignore self, and the object types we want to actually detect. Let's just put world static, world dynamic like the other project. And this should work. Oh. Persistent. Where's my character facing? Put the cube in front of me to make it easier so I don't have to rotate every time. It's not. There's something wrong with it. Dumb cube. Alright. Now we go back to debugging. So we can check out, see what's happening here. Theoretically, if it gets all the way through, it is technically detecting that it is an item. It has that tag. And it is trying to trigger that function. Yeah, it's working. Because if you see, I'm aiming at nothing and it's hitting nothing. That's why it doesn't get past that first branch. If I aim and hit this, it gets through the first branch, but it doesn't get through the second branch because that's not an item. And this is detecting that it is a tag, or that it has the tag item. And you can even see the line going through it too. Which is strange. I don't think it's supposed to do that. It's not a multi-line trace. Oh, I think it does because that's the length of the line. So, well, now we try to debug the actual cube itself. Because we can do that by... There we go. This should trigger. It is. Cool. But it's not printing this, obviously. So now we need to go literally to the child itself. And the child is doing this. Oh! It was working. I know why it's not showing, though. Because I had gone in before the stream and set up this, which disables print statements. That's why it wasn't visible. Or maybe not. Did I not save that? Oh, I don't think I saved or compiled and saved. Still not showing. Huh. Oh, is there no text in here? Yeah, there's text in there. What the hell? Is it because the child has no text in it? Hello. Even that's not working. It's not because of that. Let's get rid of that. Hello. Through the old project. So, objects, interactables. Oh my god. All of these were the different items that you could interact with. I don't think I made them as part of the same blueprint, like under a certain parent. No, I don't think so. Damn. But this one is supposed to be basically like this. I think it's like this test cube. Or is this all this stuff on the character? Is it in here somewhere? Forward trace. This might be for something else. Yeah, because this doesn't have a parent. I mean, this is basically what it's doing. But it's a custom event, not a function. And maybe the override itself is not working. I'm guessing that if I just take this off the parent, in fact, just get rid of that completely. If I get rid of that completely and do it on the child instead, event, item, interact, and then just bring up the function itself, even though I could probably just not do that. And that's what's happening in this function. Still nothing. Did it save? Yeah. I hope I don't. Cube, why are you not interacting? This is so weird. Oh, because it's a function. Is it because it's a function and it just doesn't like that? I highly doubt that. Alright, print it. Just directly attached to that. No. So the way that the cube is doing it is using a custom event. Because on the player, you got your line trace here. And you're getting the interact interface function. And on the cube itself, this is what it's doing. It's just running this custom event. And that custom event is just printing. So if I do the same thing here, which is kind of annoying, but custom event. I'll just name it that for now. Item dialog. This would be really weird if this is how it's going to work, but okay. Still nothing. So there's something strange here. Ooh. I did not check. Cube. What is your collision type? It is world dynamic, so it should be interacting with the line. Does it need to generate hit events? I wonder. No. I don't know why this isn't working. Because it works in the previous project, but not this. I'm just going to delete all of this extra stuff. Yeah, it's probably just to keep this on the child itself. On the player, let's just delete that. Because I don't think that's what's preventing it from happening, but yeah, it's not working. Close the level blueprint. Here's the player. No, get actor. Get actor of class. This be really weird. Child parent. Hold on. It's item. Yeah, it's not showing up. That's not the right one. Yeah, these aren't right. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, it's not even on the parent anymore. Huh. This is really weird. Oh. Was that not attached? No, that was attached at one point. That's still not working. I'm not missing anything in here, am I? Actually, it would probably be helpful to do this. Requiring an input. Maybe not. Because it's not the same type. It would be an actor. At that point, there's no point. Okay. I mean, this has to be right. It's just really strange that it's not working and it's identical to how it's working in the previous project. There's no other setting here. Yeah, it's literally the same thing. Interact. Ooh, good question. I just thought of. Print out what it's interacting with. Is it actually interacting? It would be really strange if it's not. Huh. The item parent has the tag, right? Yeah, it has item. I'm so blind I can't even see it. Item, yes, it's on there. Because I saw before it was actually printing, it was actually like showing the line. It was getting past the item tag branch. All right. Yeah, you could see that it's. I wonder if something with one of the camera settings that I messed with did something bad. Ooh, let me close the project and refresh it. But let me close this, the cover the screen first because I don't want to. Oh, why are you recording? Oh my god, it was recording? No, it wasn't. Jesus. Was it actually recording all that? Oh my god, it was. Why? Why was it recording? I don't remember hitting record. Whatever. Yeah, let me close both projects actually. Because I wonder if because I had it disable, I wonder if that like that command basically disabled print statements for the whole project. Hello, Jefferson. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I'm really weirded out by this problem. Again, I can't open this through Epic Games Launcher. I just need to make sure I'm not opening it through that. Okay. It would be a shame if I showed my work on stream and I get fired because of that. That's not fun. I'm thinking that maybe because I had that command in the blueprint, the level blueprint, it disabled. Oh, it's working. Yeah, it just needed a refresh. Cool. Let me show it on screen. Yeah, it was because of that command I put in the level blueprint. It disabled print statements, but I just needed a refresh for the project. There you go. This is a mysterious cube, and now you got item interaction. I wonder if I can put it back how it was. I kind of wish I'd opened all the blueprints. Okay, so we don't need that. We know it's working. kind of want to put it back to how it was. Shoot, I think I deleted it. Item interaction function. Unreal? Okay, we're good. Print. I'm going to print our warning to let the player know that you need to override the function. Override this function. Okay, there we go. And then return. Fix that. And on the child, well, let me double check. No. On the child. We are overriding that, removing this, and we're basically going to print directly from this function. Input key selector in the widget. I don't know how if I can help you with that, unfortunately. Yes, it works the same. Perfect. So now, basically every version of this blueprint, the item child 1, which is going to be for like an item that provides dialogue, something that the player will say. Each one can have its own unique line of dialogue. And for now, it's just printing it, but eventually you'll want an actual dialogue and subtitle system. That is working. Trying to think. There's a bunch of different kinds of items you can make with this system, the setup. Let's do another simple one. This one's pretty simple. So I'm gonna make first I'm gonna put all these in a folder. Items. I'm gonna change that because it's not just an item, it's an interactive items. Because I'm also going to have separate blueprints that are going to be items, but they're not interactive. Not necessarily this blueprint. So this next one is going to be a light. I guess we don't technically need. Yeah, I guess no, it would be better to make this a blueprint. So BP underscore light. We'll just call it light for now on. For now. All right, let's get rid of the child. Let's keep the parent out and the character out. Well, the character we probably don't need now. Save everything. So on here, I'm going to add a point light. We're going to do this very simple, basic light. Point light. I'm going to put it in the level. There you go, so you can see it. I'm going to make the radius smaller so it's more concentrated and increase. I don't think I need to increase that actually. All right. That looks good. And I'm going to add a static mesh to it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually make a temporary light and then a light switch. What am I doing? Sphere. This is my way of making a light, which is pretty dumb, but it works. It's just not the best. This is not the right sphere. Where's the engine sphere? Just give me plain sphere. There it is. And then glass. It's not going to look very, much like a... Oh, that's massive. Why is that so big? I guess that's the size. All right, there we go. Cool. So now we're going to make another item type. Do we need to make... see, the thing is, this one's different. This one's going to work differently. Actually, yeah, we can. We can make a child out of it. Instead of putting the code to switch the light on and off on the actual switch, I'm just going to add it to the light itself. So we're going to do a custom event. Light switch. And with this, we're going to do a flip-flop. Flip-flop basically just switches between two different branches. It only has two branches. So this is perfect for like opening a door, flipping a switch, stuff like that. Stuff that is usually like in a true-false state. So we're going to get a point light and we're going to, I guess technically all you really need to do is make it visible and invisible. There really isn't like actually a way to like turn it off. You just make it visible and invisible. So set visibility. And you're gonna enable it first and then disable it. And by default, it's gonna be disabled. So visible. It's invisible. All right. So it starts off invisible, as you can see. And now I'm gonna make another interactive item, child. Trying to think, if I make this called a light switch or a switch, I guess it would only really work for light switch or a lamp or something like that. Actually, you know what? It won't work for a lamp. I think I did the lamp. Yeah, I did the lamp in the previous project. It didn't need to be separated from the actual, what's it called? It doesn't need to be separated from the actual item, like interactable item or an interactive item, because the lamp is the interactive item and the light is attached to it. Versus like a light switch and a ceiling lamp, those are separate. So yeah, this will be a separate item. It's going to function the same way, but it's not going to do anything other than just turning the light on and off. So yeah, make a child BP light switch. So this is a child of that parent, but it's not really going to do anything special other than just switching a light. I'm going to change the material as well. Do I have anything like normal looking? Like wood? I've got some. Yeah, I got a couple. Grab this giant rock or whatever it is. So there's my point light right there. I'm going to just put my switch here on the wall. And actually, in that previous project, I actually added a point light to the switch because it would help with being able to see it. I'm gonna add a point light to this. I know it's kind of weird they're using a light switch that has a light attached to it to turn on another light, but this one's gonna be less intense. Gonna end much smaller too. 50, 25. So it's really, really tiny, but it's gonna help you find the light switch at night. And as you can see, there it is. Not very realistic looking right now, but it's temporary, so that's fine. So the light switch has that same item interact function, obviously because it's a child of that parent blueprint. So we're gonna override that same function, item interaction function. And what we're doing is, I think we can just do the flip-flop here, but is that a good idea? Yeah, it should be fine. But we're gonna make this flip-flop a little, let's not use flip-flop actually. Because flip-flop is good for proof of concept, like getting something working ASAP, but it's not the best option. There are other ways of doing it, and flip-flop doesn't allow you to like verify the current state of the, well, you could probably figure it out. Like if I did flip-flop, I could do flip-flop A and I could do branch, but I think it's constantly switching with itself. So even if it hits this branch and checks the current state and it returns false and doesn't do anything, it's still going to flip-flop to the next one. So that's why I don't want to use flip-flop. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a branch, and I'm going to grab the point light, not that point light, the point light, like this one on the ground. So now we need a reference to a point light, or what did I call it? A light. We're going to call this light ref, but it's BP light. This is our item reference, and we need to grab that reference. Actually, we need to make that a public variable. Click on that light switch, and we need to, and we can see that there's a light ref right here. We gotta find the light in the level that we want to interact with. This one right here. So we're gonna take that light ref, and we're going to get it. We're gonna get the point light. What is it called in here? It's just called point light. Get point light. Should appear at the bottom. There it is. And we're going to get visibility. Get visible. I guess visible. If it is visible, basically this is what this branch is going to be checking. If the light is visible, make it invisible. So we're going to set visibility. If it is visible, if visible is true, set it invisible. If visible is false, set it visible. So this is a better way of doing flip-flop because you can actually check the state of the item you are changing. Flip-flop is nice, but this is better overall in the long run. So now, if I interact with this thing, with this light switch, that's really bright, it'll turn that light on. And if I flip it, it'll turn it off. Now I'll show you what happens if I do flip-flop. If I do flip-flop and don't really account for the current state, which right now the current state is it is invisible, so it's off. If I were to interact with it, it's going to try to set it off even though it's already off, so it's not going to do anything. That's the problem with flip-flop. You could rearrange that, the order of that, but that's, if you want to make your game a little more randomized and different, it actually doesn't work. Strange. Huh. Maybe it doesn't like flip-flop, but whatever. I don't really need to show it. It's fine. This is working. So there we go. So now imagine this is your light switch on the wall. You could actually add a model to it, like a little light switch, and then actually move it so that it does look like it's actually switching. And imagine that being a ceiling light. I guess I should move that up to the ceiling. And there you go. Your ceiling light is on. And this is the exact same thing. I can literally just take a copy of light switch and make a lamp. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate it and call it lamp. But the lamp blueprint is not just the switch for the lamp, it's the full lamp itself. So I don't need that reference because we're not going to use we're not going to be changing a point light that's on a different blueprint. We're just going to be changing the point light on this actual blueprint itself. So we're going to get this blueprint, or this point light, change the visibility, and we're going to adjust this. I know I have a lamp asset. I don't really need it at the moment, but like we're just going to shape this a little bit better, a little bit more into a lamp. Make the Z 0.5. So like this is the lamp, and here's the light above the lamp. Let's get a table real quick. A fake table. Now let's put our lamp on there. Lamp by default should be off. Visible. The light should also be default off. Cool. So now the lamp over here. There you go. So this is doing the exact same thing as this is doing. But the thing is that these are separate, the light source and the actual switch, the actual interactable part of the lamp, of the object, basically. So there you go. Now you got a lamp, you got a light switch, and you got a mysterious cube that displays dialogue text. Temporarily just using print statements, but there you go. You got interactive items, and that's basically the core of the project. But there's so much more to do. There's different types of items that you got to set up. You got to set up your dialogue, your subtitles, your UI. There's more to work to do, but I think I'm going to end it here. Next time, I think I'm going to flush out a couple more different interactive items because there's a couple more that I set up in the previous version of the project, and I want to get those basically redone and not imported, but like redone essentially in 4.24 or 27. My bad. And then after that, I'll see about getting some HUD updates and possibly maybe even an inventory. I'm not sure if I want to do inventory. Yeah, but yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch the continuation of this live, I almost said playthrough, this live stream session, for this game, it'll be on Thursday, so 2 days from now. Same time, roughly 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully it'll be a little bit longer. Today was meant to be a bit shorter, but I think I went a little bit further than I needed to. That's fine. So, yeah, big improvement from basically being the first-person template project in Unreal, where you're very fast, you have jump, you can turn like crazy fast, and now we've got really nice updated movement. We've got the core features stripped that we don't really need out of the character blueprint. We got interactive items, and we got some camera settings that maybe don't belong in the project just yet, but I can always play around with those and set that up. But there might be some instances in the game where I will need the camera to be, a little funky looking. So that'll be something I'll worry about later. All right, thank you so much for watching again. See you next time. Bye.